It appears to me that some PlayStation fans want Xbox to compete in the gaming industry according to the perception that they have of PlayStation itself and the way that it runs business. I want to break it to you. That's not how the real world works. You, who is a patron of one particular product, does not get to decide nor dictate how its competitor runs their business. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Let's go ahead and let's talk about this stuff because, first of all, I want to say thank you to all of you who've been watching my videos and who've been commenting. It's very nice to be able to see different opinions and different views. However, I'm on a mission to bring some sensibility to the gaming conversation. It appears that it's actually necessary for most folk to kind of slightly, in a sense, talk about Xbox in a way that makes it seem like everything Xbox is doing is wrong. In fact, one of my audience members, I think, put it in the most prolific way that I've actually ever seen. He said to me, this is my interpretation of the situation, and this is in regard to my videos where I talked about there is an Xbox tax, basically a tongue-in-cheek way of saying there's a bias towards the Xbox platform in the media and in the brand perception. So Juice Music 7078 says, this is my interpretation of the situation. According to the media, the PS brand is right. Not perfect, but right. Anything different is wrong. That's why when Nintendo is successful, they are, in quote, in their own corner or about to fail because they are wrong. Xbox consoles are struggling because they are wrong. Even if they succeed in other areas, it doesn't matter. They're wrong. And the brand needs to be scrutinized because of this. But PlayStation is right. It's not good if they make a mistake, but they're still right and shouldn't be scrutinized as a brand. It's really strange, honestly. Now, believe you me, I've seen comments that have basically made me scratch my head from people who they say that they like the PlayStation brand. There's nothing wrong in actually liking the PlayStation brand. Please don't get me wrong. However, where you see most of my concerns coming from and you see most of my videos being spawned from are from folk who they say they like the, PlayStation, they like the PlayStation brand, but they have this weird animus towards Xbox. It appears to them that everything that Xbox is doing is wrong. Some of them even hold a grudge all the way from the Xbox One generation and bring it towards the conversation and factor it in as a negative to Xbox. It's like Xbox had these sins from the Xbox One generation that they should not be forgiven for. Hence, everything that they do in the Xbox Series generation must now be weighed against those sins. It's weird. Like there's some kind of, deity that Xbox needs to, in a sense, sacrifice some animal for in order to appease them. I'm telling you guys this, and you may think I'm crazy. However, go ahead and join me in looking at this string of comments in a conversation that I had. So in one of my videos where I talked about the Xbox tax, I got this comment. So shout out to you, Dr. Prophet. Your comments just literally highlighted on the video, and I thought it would be interesting for us to take a look at it. So when I talked about the Xbox tax basically being a reality, and I showed another example, this person said, let's follow your logic. If PlayStation is bad, I didn't say PlayStation is bad. And then he said, Xbox is bad to the point it's not even worth talking about. You call it tax, I call it debt. I told y'all that these people think Xbox owes a debt of some kind for their sins on the Xbox One generation, that in this generation they have to pay a price in order for them to be able to appease them. You thought I was making that stuff up? No, I see this comment and I see a lot of other comments like it on the channel. This person said, as bad as it was, the 8th generation, ponies do remember it for games like Ghost of Tsushima, Horizon Zero Dawn, and you're allowed to not like them. I like Ghost of Tsushima. I played that thing on a PS4, 30 FPS, loved every minute of it. Didn't like Horizon Zero Dawn, it was boring to me. But, it's one game versus the other. You're not allowed to like them, but in contrast, the Xbox One is remembered for canceling games, shutting down studios one after the other, and some mid-games like Quantum Break and Crackdown 3. That is your opinion. I didn't even have an Xbox then, so I didn't even play them. I didn't even bother. And so I couldn't tell you if they were mid games. I wonder, Dr. Prophet, did you play those games? Maybe you did. But me, I didn't play them. I was enjoying the PlayStation games, Uncharted and all that stuff. Spider-Man that was actually in that generation, just like many PlayStation fans, right? And they said, as bad as things are, the difference between the maintenance of each company's image is night and day. Even more now with Xbox putting their games on PlayStation without getting any PlayStation games for their platform aside from MLB The Show. So, back to the original comment that actually said the image of Xbox as it's seen is that Xbox is wrong. I think this person's observations might be a little bit closer to home than we actually imagined in this whole conversation. So, ladies and gentlemen, it seems to me that a lot of people just are mad at Xbox for reasons that happened in the Xbox One generation. Even now that Xbox has taken this approach to be much more pro-consumer out of desperation, I must add, don't get it twisted. The reason you have Game Pass is because Xbox has been looking for a response to be able to find a way to overtake or at least blaze a trail in the industry where they're going to basically own it. It's not because they are just out of the goodness of their heart wanting to spend $79 billion so they can drop you all these beautiful free games or all these hard-hitting free games. Some of them came out of, desperation, out of them wanting to basically not be left out. But you have to say that this value proposition is really irking a lot of PlayStation fans. I don't know what it is, but the fact that Indiana Jones and Call of Duty and all these Bethesda games are going to be coming here for a subscription service, it really makes them want to pull their hair out. In fact, many of them are complaining that this is going to eat sales for Xbox. What do you care? You said Xbox needs to be mocked, according to one of my audience members, right? But here's the thing that's actually, in a sense, ticklish to me, it makes me laugh, is the moment these games eventually started to set their sight on PlayStation, at first it was a joke. PlayStation fans were like, Xbox is cooked. Hi-Fi Rush. And then the moment they saw a AAA game coming, they were like, crap. You know what this means, right? It means that somewhere in our brain, the words Game Pass are going to scroll through it. You know what that means, right? Because when you see the price tag, you're like, I don't know if I want to play Indiana Jones. But then you look at PlayStation and like, PlayStation doesn't have anything for me to play. If I like single player games, these quality adventure games that you said Xbox didn't have that they now somehow have thanks to PlayStation for trying to actually put their hands on Starfield, Xbox becomes basically the owner of all of those IPs. If they hadn't touched it in their dirty money hatting, you would not be in a position where, in my opinion, that Game Pass becomes this juggernaut that it is today. I'm telling you, PlayStation made this all possible. Now that they decided to bring it to PlayStation, these PlayStation fans are upset. They're upset because they have to think about the Xbox counterparts, whom they've actually spent time and enjoyed mocking. Yes, this is what this person said to me. They said that they believe Xbox should be mocked because of their performance in the past generation. Because according to them, it makes them laugh. I've seen a lot of PlayStation folk online that carry the same kind of attitude. I'm not saying it's all PlayStation people. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that this mindset exists and it actually, in a sense, impedes these folk from paying very close attention to how they may be getting fleeced by PlayStation. Believe it or not, there is no value proposition that PlayStation has going for it right now that Xbox does not match or beat like tenfold. Oh, I'm being honest. I mean, Stellar Blade has worn off, so no one is actually thinking about the game anymore. No one's really actually going to be jumping back to play the game. It was actually, kind of shiny when it first came out, right? But now everyone, and that's one thing about gamers, they're always looking for the next thing. What's the next thing? Well, guess who has the next thing lined up after the next thing after the next thing? Apparently, it just happens to be that it's Xbox. They've been talking about this release lineup for a long time, but it seemed like nobody wanted to listen at that point in time. It just seemed expedient to be like, where are Xbox's games? You see the journalists, where are Xbox? Where are your games? Like the games were not being developed. Like I showed you guys a comment in my last video, right? Where somebody said, now that Stalker and Indiana Jones and Avowed have a date. You remember when these people were saying, well, these games are coming, but they don't have a date. Now they have a date. It's now that they have a date. And now that they're going to be coming on Game Pass for these Xbox players to actually enjoy with choices, it's crazy. These guys went from having, you talk bad about their canceled games and their mid games, which you call mid. I wouldn't agree with you until I play the game. You insulted their games, and now they're going to be feasting like kings. And somehow I'm supposed to believe that Xbox has a bad image. No, you're not fooling anybody. I recommend I recommend that these folk rethink their perception. And the fact that these games going to Game Pass is going to make them think about Game Pass, I think it really irks them. PlayStation has nothing in that category to offer you. So you're maybe going to buy yourself an Xbox if you're interested in these games, or build a PC, which will actually make my heart warm and all, I'll be like, aw. Or you get yourself, these games for the full price that Xbox wants to sell it to you. It's a rock and a hard place. Finally, the subscription services have come full circle. This one actually hits a little different. So I'll see y'all on the Game Pass side, because I ain't paying $200 for these games, man. I'm gonna subscribe to Game Pass and check them out. The ones that I like, I'll probably go buy on Steam. The ones I don't really vibe with, we'll see them on a sale or whatever. Thanks for watching the video. Peace out.